Now that fall and winter is quickly approaching, and I'm not using my truck, during the summer months, I use this truck a lot, going back and forth to the family cabin, towing the trailer, and it kind of got neglected when it comes to keeping it clean. It's tough on a dirt road. You get a lot of moisture on the dirt road. I get a lot of mud. The mud on the dirt road, the road has been treated with, I think it's called magnet chloride, and it supposedly kind of holds all the soil together so you don't get dust. But when it's wet, it flips up mud in the fender wells. It eats chrome right off. And it really bonds to the finish. So I want to get that off. And what I've done in the past is I've used my Makita buffer, and I used some pretty heavy compounds with a wool pad. It does a great job of just really cleaning all that up. There's a lot of scratches from bushes. It polishes out all the scratches, just does a great job. But I can't do that a whole lot because it will start to cut right through that clear coat. And I'm a little concerned with how much clear I have left when I start getting into some of these edges. So now I want to just maintain it and get it the best shine possible and work out these swirls, because this leaves swirls, a lot of swirls. And in the sunlight, when I'd go camping and it'd be sitting out in the sun when it was clean before it got all dusty, didn't look that good. When I did the travel trailer and I used these heavy buffers and I used just a common compound, this worked fantastic on the motorhome. It was chalky, it had a lot of grit in it. This polished it out beautifully. It was a light color, so it didn't show all of the swirls like this black does. So after last couple of videos I've done of polishing, a lot of you guys had said, why don't you use a dual action buffer? I didn't have one, and I've been wanting to get one. And lo and behold, a viewer reached out to me and said, try this. They sent me one. Wonderful. I'm happy to try out a product. And it comes with quite a few items that's really going to make this job easy and complete. Not sure what this is. Apron. Sandpaper. 2000 grit. This gets my creative juices going. When I sand and polish, to have a dual action, I use a regular air dual action. Well, this is a cordless. And so having that cordless and not having to drag that cord around, that's awesome. Looks like we've got a few foam pads. That's nice. Looks like we've got some fiber pads, similar to the wool pads and the fabric pads. These cut a little heavier. It's nice to have that. Got some fabric pads. These will cut really nice and clean really nice. These I don't have. So yeah, these would be very good for getting all the heavy grit out. Looks like different microfibers to experiment with, so that's fun. There's a cordless battery. Assuming I'm going to have to charge that. We'll see. Here's the charger. And there's the unit. It's got speeds and positions on the side of it. That's really cool. On off. So Saker. Saker is the model. I browsed real quick online. It's pretty readily available. Amazon has it, or you can actually go to Saker's website. Pretty reasonably priced for all of these extra pieces that you get. It's right around $80, $90. Got some information on the back. And another thing, one of the things I did see on the box, one of the information was to use the sandpaper on stainless steel, like on a stainless steel sink. Well, I'm definitely going to try that. I've got a lot of stainless steel on my Jeepster, and I've done some stainless steel polishing in the past, and it's a lot of work. But one of the keys is to wet sand with these finer grits of paper. So that'll be awesome to be able to use this on some of the stainless steel pieces. Let's get this charged up and get to work. So you can see scratches, a lot of swirls. There's some nasty swirls. I replaced both of these plastic sides on top of the bed. I don't want to buff into that. The compound I'm using isn't that heavy of a grit, but you can kind of mar up plastics. It's not likely I'll do it with the DA, but I also don't want to stain it either. And I've had rubbing compounds that are kind of hard to get off of plastics. So I'm just going to put a little masking tape on there. I really don't know what to expect from this. I do know with these heavy scratches, I want to use an aggressive pad. So I picked out the pad that I believe will probably have the best results for cutting through these scratches. And I want to just use a standard old rubbing compound. I bought this at AutoZone, so I've used it on the motorhome. I've gone through a couple of these containers. So I know what it'll do on a heavy cut. I know what it'll do to get rid of oxidation. According to the label, it should work really well for a heavy cut like this, as well as going to a really fine final cut. So I want to try that out. We're going to start with shaking it up good. And then I will just put 4 dime size or larger. Might be a little bit much. And then I'm going to do this area. I don't want to do too much because, like I say, I'm experimenting, but at the same time, I'm not sure how this is going to apply. I'm going to start out on a 2 and just kind of work this into the fit. Just kind of work all of this across into the finish, and then I will turn it up to 5 and continue to buff. And for an area like this, I'll plan on, say, 3, 4 passes. I don't want to put a real heavy pressure on it, just a light pressure. And I will turn it up to 5. I want to be careful of this edge. I don't want to put too much pressure on that edge and take the chance of rubbing through it. I love not having a cord. Typically, you'd put a cord up over your shoulder to get it out of the way so you're not causing any more damage or scratches. Again, being careful of this edge. I also want to be careful of this edge. Now, this is where I usually go up and down, but since this area is so small, I feel really good I'm getting good coverage. But I'd still like to go over this one more pass. Keep in mind, you do not want to get this panel hot. Getting it too hot can cause other problems that I have seen, especially when I'm using a real heavy wool panel. This isn't the least bit warm. You can see I've definitely used too much of the compound. I don't need to use quite that much. Wow, I am very impressed. The amount of scratches is a huge improvement. There's really large swirls right here on a lot of brush branches from bushes and trees. Those are pretty much gone. They're not completely gone. So for something that's damaged this bad, I'm very impressed with the buffer. Excellent, excellent results. I'm very pleased. I'm going to go one step further. I want to try this foam pad. This should get even better shine results with that pad. This is leaving the finish very nice. It's taking out a lot of the scratches, if not all of them. So now I'm going to see if I can get a more brilliant shine with this pad. going to do the same. I'm going to drop down to 1, 2, just to kind of work it in. But with this pad, I'm going to go about a 4 instead of a 5. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Don't have to put as much pressure on this pad. In fact, you have to lighten it up. With a little bit of pressure, it starts to really move the foam around. I'll turn it to about a 4. And just gentle pressure. On an area like this, I don't want to be really careful not to hit the edge of that pad. Keep it on the foam. If you hit that, it'll scratch. I really like this buffer. It's lightweight. It's not really heavy vibration in my hands. It still has a full charge. Very pleased with this. Now that's what I'm talking about. Nice shine. No scratches. I mean, this had some pretty heavy scuff marks from my heavy duty buffer. Some bad swirls. Wow, that's exciting. Absolutely beautiful. If I look really close and I get the light just right, I can still see some of those branch scuffs. But for only going over this with the 2 different pads, the wool-like pad, I don't think this is wool. It's not. But still, this isn't a heavy cut pad. I'm using the same compound with both the foam pad and this heavier cut pad. The results that I'm getting is way better than what I was expecting. I didn't expect to get rid of as much of the scratches that it did. And since I'm going to be taking this back up to the mountains and scratching it some more, I don't want to go down very deep. I don't want to remove a whole lot of this clear coat because I'm going to continue putting more and more scratches in it. So this is perfect for what this truck is used for. So if I was to do this whole truck in this same method, at this point, since there's no protection or wax or anything on here, I would clean this pad up and use a really good wax, like a McGuire's non-yellowing wax. I love that wax. This is the mirror glaze that I use for the travel trailer and the motorhomes. It's also for boats. You can use it on your car too. The non-yellowing mirror glaze for autos probably has a little bit different formulas, but this works great in the buffer as well. It doesn't have any real cutting compounds in it. It's just a matter of finish polishing and putting on that final glaze. For this, I'm going to go a step further and I'm going to use the good old heavy duty wax. I'll show you. So this is the hard shell turtle wax. I use this on the travel trailers. I want the wax to last as long as possible throughout the year, so I don't have to keep washing them. All the water spots just run off, and the travel trailer still looks pretty clean even after a couple of storms. And I can just take a towel and dry it off. I do this twice a year on the trailer, and I'm going to do that on this for the winter and for next spring, and then it's just a matter of quick wash because I just get it so dirty with the mud and the road debris. And that's part of why I want to buff all this out, because the water spots from that mag chloride, it leaves a residue that is very difficult to get off. You pretty much have to use a heavy grit compound and a heavy pad to get that off, and then I can buff and polish like I just did. On turtle wax, this good old day stuff, this is all I ever used as a kid, and I still love it today. Good old paste wax. You can apply it with the buffer. I like to do it by hand. Get a good workout, get a good feel for it. When I do this without buffing, you can just hear all the grit and grime that is still in the finish. Using a bar cleaner, those are really nice. I have one that I use. But if you're using these buffers, that's going to pretty much clear all the residue off of this finish. Now I'll let that set and dry, and then I'll buff it off. You want a good clean terry cloth towel or microfiber to buff that wax up. And you just hear the difference. It's smooth and slippery. And this sounds like sandpaper. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, thanks to the person that sent me this. Really appreciate it. It was fun trying it out. I'm not getting paid to advertise this product. I just like to share when I have something that I enjoy. If I didn't, I would either not video it, or I would be honest and trash it. But I really like this. I like the lightweight to it. I don't know how long the battery's going to last. I'll have to just keep going until it dies. But it makes sense to just buy more batteries if they don't last very long. Didn't look up the price of the batteries, but I can't imagine that battery is very expensive. Alright, well that's it for this video. I've got my work cut out for me to finish this whole truck. Appreciate you tuning in. But just so you know, you don't have to be professional to do this, and you don't have to have a whole lot of products and a whole lot of different pads. I'm not getting paid to advertise for turtle wax either. It's just something that I enjoy using. It works great for me, but there are a lot of other products. But as you can see, you can use this same rubbing compound for all steps. You don't have to go with really, really fine cut, but I do on occasion, especially my show car. I get into the fine cut cleaners, swirl removers, heavy cut, and final show finish. So Meguiar's has great products. I'm really happy with those as well. But for a project like this, pretty much any rubbing compound that you buy, I haven't tried them all, so be careful. Try a little bit of an area, make sure you don't cut too much. Be careful of your edges. you can do this too. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye for now.